Some clutter isn't loud, it just quietly wears you down. A stack of bags you plan to reuse someday. Makeup you haven't touched in months. That one chair always covered in clothes. It all adds up. And suddenly your space feels heavy, and so do you. In this video, I'll walk you through how to clear that weight in under an hour. No pressure to do it all. Just simple, focused steps that help you breathe easier. This is the method I use whenever I feel overwhelmed. Pick one spot, set a timer, and don't aim for perfect, just aim for lighter. You can follow along in order or jump to whatever area feels the most stressful right now. Let's start with something we all hold on to, the quiet guilt tied to the things we keep. Start with the things you're only keeping because you'd feel bad getting rid of them. You don't love them. You don't use them. You just feel guilty, like letting them go would somehow make you a bad person. For me, it was this little bracelet a coworker gave me when I left my old job. We weren't even that close, but she was sweet, and the gift felt thoughtful at the time. I never wore it, it wasn't really my style, but for years it just sat in my drawer. Every time I saw it, I'd pause, and this little voice in my head would go, "It was a gift. You should keep it." But truthfully, it just made the drawer feel cluttered and a little heavy, like it wasn't even my space anymore. One day, I finally let it go. I donated it, someone else might actually enjoy it. And just like that, the drawer felt more like mine again. That tiny shift made such a difference. So if there's something in your home that gives you that weird guilty tug when you look at it, a gift, a note, a random keepsake, ask yourself, do I feel peace when I see this, or pressure? You don't have to keep things just to prove you're kind. Letting go doesn't mean you're ungrateful. It just means you're ready to stop living with quiet, emotional clutter. And by the way, in tomorrow's video, I'm sharing how to save time on cleaning by changing just one daily habit. It's a small shift that helped me stop re-cleaning the same spaces over and over. So make sure to check that out. Now let's move to the next kind of clutter, the kind that stares you down every time you walk by. Now move to the areas in your home that make you feel tense just walking past them. Not the ones that should be cleaned. Not the ones other people would notice. Start with the space that personally drains you, the one that makes your shoulders tighten, or your mood drop the moment you see it. That could be the hallway table piled with unopened mail, or the kitchen corner where water bottles and snack bags collect for no reason, or that random drawer in your bathroom that you keep shoving things into for now. Here's the shift pick, just 5 of those hot spots. Write them down. Not to overwhelm yourself, but so you have a clear, tiny path forward. For example, my entryway bench was constantly buried under stuffed shoes, grocery bags, jackets, even my dog's leash. I was always moving things back and forth, but never actually fixing it. One day I just wrote it down, entry bench, and gave it 6 minutes. Trash, relocate, done. It's not perfect now, but at least I can sit down without something falling off. When you name the zone that's messing with your peace, you take away its power. And once you check it off even halfway, you start building quiet momentum. Next, let's add a little pressure, the good kind, to help you move through those zones faster and with less second-guessing. Next, give yourself a deadline, even if it's just 5 minutes. When clutter overwhelms you, your brain doesn't just freeze, it spirals. Should I keep this? What if I need it later? I should organize the whole shelf. And suddenly, 30 minutes are gone and nothing really changed. Instead, try this: pick one spot, set a timer, and tell yourself, whatever gets done in this time is enough. Last week, I had a mess of half-used candles, cords, and vitamins gathering on my nightstand. I kept putting it off because I thought it would take too long to do it right. So I gave myself exactly 7 minutes. I didn't organize anything, I just tossed what was expired, moved a few things out, and wiped the surface. It was fast. It wasn't perfect. But it was done. The magic of using a timer is it gives your brain a finish line. You stop debating and just start moving. Even 5 focused minutes will feel more freeing than an hour of guilt and hesitation. Now that you've picked your zones and set your timer, let's talk about the mindset that helps you move forward, especially if you tend to be a perfectionist. Then shift your goal from make it spotless to just make it less frustrating. Perfection is sneaky. It sounds noble, but it actually delays everything. It says, wait until you have a full afternoon. Wait until you can do it properly. And the mess sits there, for days or weeks. Instead, try this. Don't aim to finish. Just aim to feel a little better. The other day, I opened the cabinet under my bathroom sink and immediately felt annoyed. There were backup lotions I don't use, an old electric razor that's probably dead, and a whole pile of hair ties tangled around a dusty brush. I didn't have the energy to organize the whole thing, so I just pulled out 3 things I knew I didn't want anymore, tossed them, wiped the front edge, and closed the door. Was it done? No. Was it better? Absolutely. And honestly, it changed how I felt brushing my teeth the next morning. I didn't get hit with that little wave of dread. That's a win. When you stop waiting for perfect, you finally start. Now let's use that same mindset to deal with a different kind of clutter, the stuff you've been keeping for a version of yourself that doesn't really exist. Now take a look at the things you're keeping for a version of you that never really showed up. You know, the ones: the yoga mat you never unroll, the fancy planner. You never open the pile of scrapbooking supplies you haven't touched since 2019. They're not bad things. They're just quietly reminding you of who you thought you'd be by now. One time, I found a full box of watercolor supplies I bought during a creative phase that lasted about 2 days. I had this image of myself doing peaceful little painting sessions on weekends. But let's be honest, I don't even like sitting still that long. The paints were dry, the brushes were stiff. I wasn't a watercolor person, so I donated them to a local after-school program. And you know what? I didn't feel disappointed. I felt relieved. Like I could stop trying to live up to a version of me that doesn't really exist and start making space for who I actually am. If something in your home makes you feel like you're falling short instead of inspired, it's probably time to let it go. Next, we'll shift to a different kind of emotional weight, the urge to save everything just in case, especially in the name of being responsible. Next, look at the things you're keeping because it might be useful someday. Boxes, jars, ribbons, cords, random kitchen tools, empty containers. It feels responsible, even noble. But too much just in case becomes never used, always in the way. I had a stash of glass jars under the sink, all shapes and sizes. My plan: use them for leftovers, flower cuttings, DIY gifts. Reality: they gathered dust for over a year. Every time I reached for the cleaner, I'd knock over a jar and feel instantly annoyed but also guilty. Because what if I needed it? Eventually, I kept 3 that were actually useful and recycled the rest. Now that shelf works. I can breathe when I open it. Being resourceful doesn't mean drowning in backup plans. It's okay to create a little room for peace, even if that means letting go of a perfectly good jar. Let's carry that same mindset into the next kind of clutter. The stuff that's not about guilt or planning, but simply too much stuff with no clear place. No. Next, tackle the random stuff that just floats around your house with nowhere to go. It's not sentimental, it's not useful, it's not trash, it's just stuff. Hair clips on the kitchen counter, loose change in 5 different spots, pens that don't work, receipts, buttons, phone chargers you're scared to throw out just in case. I had this one drawer, not even a junk drawer, just a drawer where everything ended up. Masking tape, tea lights, a screwdriver, dried out pens, lip balm, allergy meds, receipts. Every time I opened it, I thought, one day I'll sort this. But one day never came. So I gave myself 10 minutes. Trash, donate, move, keep. That's it. I didn't make a system. I didn't buy bins. I just made space. When something has no home, it becomes noise. And too much noise, even from tiny things, makes your whole space feel off. Finish this round of decluttering by calming just one of those noisy corners. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to feel better. And now that you've moved through the hardest kinds of clutter, the emotional, the invisible, the slow-building kind, it's time for a soft landing and a gentle reminder that you did enough. Build small declutter habits into the moments that are already happening. You don't need a whole cleaning session, just use natural pauses in your day as cues. For example, wipe the bathroom sink right after brushing your teeth. Put away the throw blanket when you turn off the TV. Toss trash from your bag every time you park the car. I used to leave the living room messy after watching a show, cushions everywhere, mugs on the table, socks on the floor. But now I take 60 seconds while the credits roll to reset the space. It's like brushing your space's teeth, a small habit that prevents buildup. Tiny resets at natural transitions make your home feel cared for without needing a big cleanup. You're not starting from zero all the time, just keeping the base steady. Let's add one last habit, not physical, but emotional, to help you stay grounded even when the house gets messy again. Declutter from calm, not from crisis. So many of us wait until we're frustrated, burnt out, or embarrassed, and then we try to fix everything in one exhausting sprint. But what if you started before it felt urgent? A few months ago, I noticed a pattern. I only decluttered when I was mad. Mad at the mess, at myself, at the laundry pile that never shrank. But that kind of energy never lasts. It burns fast and leaves you tired. Now I declutter during the quiet moments, when I'm not in a rush, when I have music on, or when I'm just waiting for something to finish in the oven. No pressure, no big task. Just a drawer here, a shelf there. You don't have to be in the mood to make progress. You just have to start from a calmer place so your space doesn't feel like punishment. Finally, sometimes the mess isn't just mess. It's a signal that something deeper needs attention. When life gets heavy, clutter tends to pile up quietly. Not because you're lazy, but because your energy went somewhere else: caregiving, worry, grief, burnout. And then the mess starts to feel like a reflection of how you're doing inside. But here's a softer thought: what if tidying up wasn't about fixing, but about tending? Not to impress anyone, not to be productive, but as a quiet way of telling yourself, I'm worth looking after. I remember clearing off my nightstand after a long stretch of feeling numb. I replaced an old water glass, dusted the lamp, folded the book jacket back on. It took 2 minutes. But the next night when I got into bed, I felt held. Like I had left myself a tiny act of kindness. Sometimes decluttering isn't about your stuff. It's about reconnecting to yourself. A quiet way of saying you still matter, even now. You don't have to declutter your whole house to feel better. You just have to take one clear step and then another. Maybe today you let go of something that felt heavy. Maybe you gave one corner a fresh start. Maybe you simply paused long enough to realize you deserve to feel lighter in your own space. Whatever it was, that's enough. The goal isn't to reach perfection. It's to make your home feel a little more like support and a little less like pressure. If you need a reminder later, come back to any part of this video. Or just try one of these habits tomorrow when you have 5 quiet minutes. And if you're ready to keep this momentum going, tomorrow's video will show you how to save time cleaning by changing just one small daily habit. It's simple, but it made my home feel less like a chore and more like a place I could actually rest in. Until then, be gentle with your space and with yourself. You're doing more than you think, and your peace matters.